Hello guys, I'm Sketching Thoughts, and today we're going to explore the psychology of people who enjoy fixing cars. Why some people feel more connected to machines than conversations. Why repairing something broken can feel strangely calming, and what this reveals about the human mind. But before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and comment on it. And never miss videos like these. Now let's begin. You spend hours fixing something that most people would replace. A strange noise, a dead engine, a machine that refuses to move. And somehow, you enjoy it, not because it's easy, but because something inside you becomes quiet when you're working on it. While everyone else sees grease, broken parts, and frustration, you see a puzzle, a conversation, maybe even control. But why? Why do some people feel deeply alive while repairing machines? And why does working on a car sometimes feel more emotionally calming than talking to people? There's a psychological reason for this, and it has less to do with cars than with the human brain itself. Because for some people, fixing cars is not just a hobby, it's regulation. A lot of people assume car enthusiasts simply love engines, but if you look closer, the attachment usually runs deeper. You might notice it in small moments. The relief you feel when diagnosing the exact issue, the satisfaction of hearing an engine finally start, the calm that appears after hours of focused work. And strangely, the rest of life often feels harder to understand. Relationships feel unpredictable. People send mixed signals. Emotions change without warning, but mechanical systems don't lie. If something is wrong, there is a reason. If you are patient enough, the answer exists somewhere. That predictability matters more than most people realize. Behavioral psychology shows that the human brain is constantly searching for environments where actions create clear outcomes. Psychologists call this contingency. Action leads to result. When the brain experiences consistent feedback, it feels safer, more stable, more in control. Cars provide that. Think about daily life. You can work hard and still be ignored. You can explain yourself perfectly and still be misunderstood. You can love someone deeply and still lose them. Human systems are emotionally chaotic. Mechanical systems are different. A faulty alternator behaves like a faulty alternator. A dead battery leaves evidence. A worn belt makes noise before it snaps. Machines reward observation. And for certain personalities, that becomes emotionally addictive, especially for people high in trait conscientiousness. Conscientious people naturally gain psychological satisfaction from order, precision, and problem solving. Their brains release dopamine not only from rewards, but from progress itself. Every bolt tightened, every issue diagnosed, every improvement measured. The brain interprets this as competence, and competence is one of the strongest psychological needs humans have. But there's another layer underneath this, something quieter, something emotional. Many people who enjoy fixing cars struggle with emotions they cannot easily explain. Not always trauma, not always pain, just internal noise. Thoughts that feel difficult to organize, stress that lingers without shape, a constant low-level pressure in the nervous system. And this is where mechanical work becomes psychologically powerful, because focused physical tasks reduce cognitive overload. In neuroscience, attention works like a spotlight. Your brain only has limited conscious bandwidth. When you fully focus on diagnosing a sound, adjusting timing, or disassembling an engine, your mental spotlight narrows, rumination decreases, anxiety softens, the nervous system becomes quieter. This is similar to what psychologists call flow state. Flow happens when challenge and skill meet at the same level. Too easy, you get bored. Too difficult, you feel overwhelmed. But repairing machines often creates the perfect middle zone. Just enough difficulty to absorb attention, just enough progress to keep the brain engaged. And during flow, the part of the brain associated with self-criticism, the default mode network, becomes less active. In simple words, you temporarily stop overthinking yourself. That's why hours can disappear in a garage without feeling exhausting. The task becomes an escape from self-awareness, not avoidance, regulation. There's also a deeper metaphor hiding inside all this. Cars break in visible ways. Humans usually don't. When an engine fails, you can open the hood, trace the problem, replace damaged parts, test solutions. But emotional pain rarely works that cleanly. You can't always identify why someone feels empty, or anxious, or disconnected. So sometimes the brain becomes drawn towards systems that can be repaired. Mechanical repair creates symbolic control. A silent message forms underneath the activity. At least here, things can be fixed. And interestingly, this doesn't only happen with cars. You see similar psychology in people who restore furniture, repair watches, build computers, or work with tools for hours in silence. The brain loves environments where effort visibly changes reality. Modern life often lacks that. Most digital work is abstract, endless tabs, invisible outcomes, constant notifications. But repairing a machine gives the brain physical evidence of progress. That matters neurologically. There's a concept in cognitive science called embodied cognition. It means the brain doesn't think separately from the body. Physical Physical movement changes emotional states. Hands-on mechanical work grounds attention into the present moment. You feel textures, resistance, weight, temperature, sound. Your senses synchronize. And when sensory focus increases, emotional noise often decreases. That's why some people feel calmer changing brake pads than sitting still trying to relax. Their nervous system regulates better through action than stillness. But this pattern can also become unhealthy if you don't understand it, because sometimes fixing machines becomes easier than facing yourself. You may notice this in subtle ways. You avoid difficult conversations but spend 6 hours perfecting a minor repair. You feel emotionally distant until you start working with your hands. You understand engines better than your own feelings. This happens because mechanical systems are safer than emotional systems. Machines don't reject you. They don't judge you. They don't abandon you. Humans can. And over time, some people unconsciously retreat into repair work because it offers emotional predictability. But the goal is not to stop loving mechanical work. The goal is understanding why it feels meaningful. Because once you understand the psychology behind it, the activity becomes healthier instead of compulsive. So what can you actually learn from this? The first thing is this. Your brain probably craves visible progress. If your life feels mentally heavy, you need environments where effort creates clear results. That could be repairing things, building things, cooking, drawing, gardening. The brain relaxes when it can physically witness change. Second, pay attention to how your nervous system responds during focused work. Notice when your breathing slows, when time disappears, when your thoughts quiet down. That state is information. It tells you your brain is temporarily escaping cognitive overload, and instead of treating that as random, you can intentionally create more healthy flow states in your life. Third, don't let competence become emotional hiding. A lot of highly skilled people learn how to repair everything except themselves. They master systems because systems feel safer than vulnerability, but emotional intelligence works differently than mechanics. You cannot tighten a bolt and instantly solve loneliness. You cannot logically diagnose every feeling. Some parts of being human require uncertainty, and learning to tolerate uncertainty is psychological strength too. Fourth, understand the deeper reward your brain is seeking. It's usually not just the finished repair. It's agency, the feeling that your actions matter, that you can influence outcomes, that your effort changes reality. Humans psychologically deteriorate when they feel powerless for too long. Repair work restores agency, even in small ways. In many ways, fixing a car becomes a conversation between the brain and the world. The world says, things fall apart, and your hands respond, maybe, but some things can still be repaired. That's why the process feels strangely emotional. Not because you love broken machines, but because part of the human mind is always trying to restore order, internally and externally at the same time. And maybe that's the real psychology behind it. Not obsession with engines, but the quiet comfort of knowing that with enough patience, something damaged can still move again. So if you've ever felt unusually calm while fixing something mechanical, it may not be random at all. Your brain may simply be finding one of the few places where effort, focus, and reality finally make sense together. And sometimes that feeling is rarer than people realize. If this video made you see yourself differently or helped you understand someone a little better, then make sure to subscribe to the channel for more deep psychology videos like this. This is Sketching Thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.